Welcome to Intro to Continuous Interest. So in the last video, we discussed compound interest. When you take your money, the interest that you get, and you reinvest it in the bank. That way you get interest on your interest. And we said if you compound monthly, that means each month, 12 times a year, you take your interest out, you put it back in the bank to reinvest it. Now, continuous interest is not when you do it quarterly or monthly or daily or hourly. Continuous interest is when you're reinvesting your interest constantly, and that requires a new formula. This new formula we call PERT, P-E-R-T, right? Your A is your final amount, like before, the future amount. Your P is still your principal, the initial. R is your rate as a decimal. T is still your time in years, right? And E, we've talked about before, is a number. That number is approximately 2.718, and it goes on, it's rational. You can find E in the calculator by doing second ln. Now, with this formula, we have a few things. The T is your time, right? And that's the variable usually. So with T, just make sure that you're using X in the calculator. And E is a number found on the calculator. So please just make sure that you don't replace E with an actual value. Always leave it as E unless the problem says to use 2.718. That's the only time you would substitute it in. And like yesterday, your growth factor is not E because E is not your base since there's something else in the exponent attached to the time. Your true growth factor is e to the r. And that's going to show you how much you're truly increasing for your interest each and every year. Now, you're going to use this formula when you see compounded continuously. So the last video said anytime you see the word compounded, use the compound interest formula. That's not the case when you see compounded continuously. The word continuously overrides it to tell you to use PERT, this formula. So let's try an example. If we read carefully, we have Matt places $1,200 in an investment account earning an annual rate of 6.5% compounded continuously. And there is your keyword to use PERT. The initial amount that he put in is P. He's earning a rate of 0.065 because you have to convert the percent to a decimal. And they want you to determine the amount of money to the nearest cent, that's the nearest hundredths, that he's going to have in the account after 10 years. So that is your time. So we have A equals 1,200 e to the 0.065 t, which is 10. You're going to put that in your calculator, and again, if you're having trouble finding e, it's going to be located on the bottom left, not ln. In order to get e, you're going to hit second ln. There's another e in your calculator right underneath the division sign, but if you use that one, it doesn't give you the exponent. It really doesn't matter whichever one you use. The point is our problem is going to have $2,298, and if you round it to the nearest cent, that's going to round up to 64 cents. Sorry, 65 cents. Let's try one more. We have $5,000 is invested at an interest rate of 3.5%, compounded continuously, so we're using PERT. No money is deposited or withdrawn from the account. Using the formula, determine to the nearest cent how much of this investment will be worth in how much the investment will be worth in 120 months. Now this is important because they're giving you months. And 120 months can't be your value of t because t is in years. So 120 months is equal to 10 years, and that's going to be our value of t. So we have A is equal to the 5,000 that we are initially putting in. We have the value of E to the 0.035, and our T is the 10 years. If you put this in the calculator, this time we're going to get $7,095. And if you round it to the nearest cent, that is 34 cents. So just remember to always use PERT anytime you see the word continuously. And that's all for this video.